The January transfer window is just a month or so away, and we all know that the winter transfer window is a big one because it allows clubs and players to make certain decisions. Some clubs use this window to replenish their stock, buy players who can replace injured ones. For instance, Liverpool are expected to spend money on a new defender due to injuries to Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. Some clubs need to add a bit more to their squad. Manchester United, for instance, are going to be able to finalise the transfer of Amadou Traoré from Atalanta. Last January, the Red Devils signed Bruno Fernandes, and the Portuguese's arrival saw the team start performing like a team that wants to play Champions League football. For players, this transfer window can be extremely useful. With the European Championships set to take place next summer, some players will be looking to move to teams where they can play regular and have a chance to represent their countries in the tournament. Olivier Giroud is one such player. The France international is currently plying his trade in the English Premier League with Chelsea, where he's been unable to nail down a regular spot in the starting 11. Manager Frank Lampard prefers to use Tammy Abraham or summer signing Timo Werner up front, which means that the former Arsenal frontman has to spend most of his time on the bench. However, for the French national team, Giroud continues to be a man of significant importance, with Didier Deschamps preferring him ahead of other options. The veteran striker scored twice in the 4-2 win over Sweden during the international break to reach 44 goals for Les Bleus. He only needs 8 more goals to surpass Thierry Henry and become France's all-time leading goalscorer. Now, a player of such importance is not supposed to be consigned to a bench-warming role, but the sad reality is that Giroud is not getting enough minutes on the pitch at Chelsea. So far, he's only played 4 games in the league and has amassed a paltry 36 minutes in total. In the Champions League, he's scored once in 2 games and has played only 48 minutes. Clearly, something's got to give, even though Frank Lampard wants to see the veteran striker stay on at Stamford Bridge. Giroud told Téléfoot, "Worried is a big word, but it is concerning. It's true that I felt I still had a role to play in this Chelsea team, especially after ending last season very well. At the start of the campaign, I thought I could still help the team, but my playing time has gone down significantly, so that will need to change or I'll have to make a decision." Giroud knows that Deschamps cannot continue ignoring other options who are getting more minutes than him, which is why it's imperative for the former Montpellier striker to go to a place where he gets more minutes on the pitch and justify his selection for the national side. Lampard maintains that Giroud is part of his plans and that he wants him to stay, but the former midfielder also admits that if Giroud wants something else, he would be happy to have a conversation with him. At the age of 34, Giroud doesn't necessarily have many years of top-level football left in him, so it would be important for the striker to look at options in front of him. His importance at Chelsea can't be ignored, but the problem is that at his age, you can't expect the Frenchman to compete with players like Abraham and Werner. Moreover, Frank Lampard prefers to play a more free-flowing brand of football and doesn't like using a traditional number 9. This is why he's brought on only when the team needs to try something different. He's the team's plan B, and this isn't the sort of situation that he wants to be in. Lampard is also eager to guide the club towards a different path and wants to invest heavily in the younger players who can represent the Blues for years to come. At the age of 34, Giroud isn't going to be playing top-level football in a few years' time. The French national team has a lot of options up front. Alexandre Lacazette is expected to be given more chances, and so does Moussa Dembélé. Is Didier Deschamps going to be willing to continue relying on an aging striker who no longer gets to play in the Premier League regularly? In fact, the former World Cup winner has hinted that he might be looking at other alternatives if Giroud continues being confined to a bit part at Chelsea. Regardless of his age, he can still offer a lot to any team, so we've drawn out a list of possible outfits who would love to enlist his services. Inter Miami. For several months, Giroud has been hotly linked with a move to David Beckham's MLS franchise. Indeed, this is a very exciting prospect. Who can say no to living the high life in Miami and earning a lot of money? However, he might not want to leave the continent right now. His fellow World Cup winner Blaise Matuidi decided to end his European adventure and joined Miami in August. The former Juventus man hasn't been seen playing for France since then. So in order to ensure that he doesn't get ignored, Giroud might consider a move to North America at a later stage in his career. Bordeaux. Giroud keeps getting better with age, and Bordeaux are one of the many teams in France that are looking to sign him up. However, they don't quite have the finances to pull this one off. Giroud's wages would be a stumbling block for sure. Even though they did manage to sign Hatem Ben Arfa this summer, they do need an experienced striker like Giroud up front. However, would the veteran striker want to move to a team that's already struggling so much? Olympique De Marseille. On the domestic front, Marseille have started Ligue 1 brightly and are in 4th place in the league standings. With the likes of Florian Thauvin and Dimitri Payet in the squad, Giroud is definitely going to flourish. However, he might not be able to compete for top honours at Stade Vélodrome, and with his pedigree, you can understand why the striker might not be enthused at the prospect of joining a side that has its own financial issues to deal with. Olympique Lyonnais. Lyon are going to be in real trouble because they just keep producing good players who eventually leave. Memphis Depay might still leave in January, and Barcelona seems to be a likely destination. Moussa Dembele is scoring goals and staying put, but he might also want a change of scenery soon. Lyon aren't competing in Europe right now, but Giroud is definitely going to have a lot of creative players around him who would help him score a good amount of goals. Any team that has the likes of Ryan Cherki, Hassem Aouar and Léo Dubois has the potential to score a lot of goals, and if they're able to sign Giroud, they might end up posing a serious threat to PSG's monopoly in Ligue 1. But would that be enough for Didier Deschamps to see him as his preferred striker at the Euros? Well, stranger things have happened. Inter Milan. The Nerazzurri are in serious trouble. After losing to Real Madrid at home, they're all but out of the Champions League. The team is in trouble, and so is Antonio Conte. The Italian tactician has been unable to help the team become genuine title contenders this season. They have the right squad with the likes of Lautaro Martinez and Romelu Lukaku leading the attack. Conte is a fan of signing players who have experience of playing top-level football. Giroud is a highly experienced striker and has done well wherever he's gone, so it would make sense if the former Chelsea manager decided to raid his former club in January. Giroud is likely to do well in Italy, but would he still play second fiddle to the likes of Lukaku and Martinez? Would he be happy with such a role? Or maybe Conte would use him ahead of Martinez, who hasn't been as explosive this season as he was in the previous campaign. Napoli. With troubled striker Arkadiusz Milik on the way out, Napoli are in the market for a new striker. Gennaro Gattuso only has Victor Osimhen as an out-and-out first-team striker, while veteran forward Fernando Llorente is not expected to play any major role. The Neapolitans have been linked with a move for the France international, but it's understood that Giroud will be a backup to the young Nigerian. But Osimhen is definitely going to learn a lot from playing alongside the Chelsea man. With creative players like Lorenzo Insigne, Herving Lozano and Dries Mertens behind him, you can expect Giroud to turn back the clock and start scoring important goals in crucial encounters. Giroud is great at forming strong partnerships with creative players, so he'll fit in quite nicely at Napoli. If they are able to sell Milik, Napoli will be able to have some space in their coffers to meet Giroud's wage demands. This would also allow him to have a better chance of staying in Deschamps' good graces and be able to nail down a spot in France's European adventure.